What's the next step? Well, let's see what we got here. Final notes. Reminder, resources available to you. I think there's a page in your website, sponsors to this event, sponsors on my website. I just want to make sure they're brought to your attention in terms of resources that are available. Page 326. Those are resources or sponsors of MrLandlord.com. We've alluded to, I think, pretty much all of them during the time here. There might be one that we didn't, but tenant credit checks, directrentdeposit.com, landlordingadvice.com.
What page is it on?
326. Landlord maintenance support. Oh, I start to say landlordingadvice.com. That's the board of advisors. That's the Q&A forum. Reporttenantsdebt.com. Landlordretreat.com. Landlordretreat.com. I don't know if I saw somebody filling out paperwork earlier, but if you did, I will take that once the event is over. But those are different resources that's available to you. You got another copy of the management self-evaluation assessment. You can take that later to compare it to what you did, those of you who took it before the event is over. Next step after you reach level 5. And what do we have? Moving forward, take growth, concluding thoughts. What time is it? 4. Pardon me? 4 o'clock. I'm going to hit on those last. I want to take a break for a moment. Okay. When you don't have to bring it up now, but after I finish talking, for those who have not filled out their their evaluation, if you would bring it and leave it up here for me. All right. Okay. Now, where did we leave off on the clicker? Time to convert. Well, actually, I didn't hit on time to convert good ideas. In your book, in your manual, I want to make sure you are aware of some things. On page 312, I suggested that you come up with a list of tasks that you may do, that you may want to assign. On page 312, I started that for you, of different tasks that you may be doing or that's connected to your rental property. One of the first things I suggested that you do is you make a list of tasks so that as you start to assign some things to other people, it'll be easier for you to do so. So I started that for you, and it's actually in the form of a management assistant responsibilities agreement, where you're asking another person, would you agree to do these particular tasks? You don't have to use it as a whole full agreement. If you do, that's fine. But I'm just providing this for you as a sample for you to get started on thinking, what are all the tasks that I'm currently doing in managing my rental business, broken down by categories. That homework assignment can be extremely helpful to you if you're looking to move in the direction where I'm strongly suggesting that you do. So that was one thing I wanted to bring to your attention. In the appendix on page 317, there's a checklist of key performance indicators. What is that? That means those are certain objectives that I have under each category. I separate that out because you may want to just look at that by itself outside of the full manual and say, okay, Jeffrey gives examples of different objectives in the different management categories. Which one of these will I start to incorporate into my own rental business? That's the purpose of that. I want you to, no, you don't have to use all the objectives that I'm suggesting, but I think it would be important for you to choose some as you move forward. Whether you're hiring or getting somebody to help you or not, I think it's important that you have objectives that you're shooting for in your business. Where you are now, where you're going. One of the things that I say at the beginning of this whole thing, or at least in the beginning of the manual, I want to help you improve. Now, some individuals, they improve, plus they come back and use this as a refresher course. If you ever wanted to come back and do a refresher course, I think there's at least 3 or 4 individuals that are doing that. Feel free to do so. When you do so, the price that you pay is less than what you pay initially. Just so you know, you don't have to pay the full price if you're doing a refresher course.
What page is that on?
I'm on page 317. Yeah, doesn't it say appendix at the top? No? Okay, well that's the page that I'm on. And it's got different objectives under each major category. Again, I want you to move forward in this business. And I want you to know that you're moving forward. I appreciate everybody that comes, but I'll greatly appreciate it even more if I hear a testimony from you saying, Jeffrey, I'm closer to where I want to be. I've improved, I've increased, I've grown, I've become more effective, I've gotten greater income. And yes, I've gotten a little bit more freedom by using the strategies you suggest. I'm not here just to talk. I truly want to make an impact on your life. I'm thankful for the opportunity that you've come. Greatly appreciate that. But again, I'm all about impacting people. I'm all about making a difference. And I want to make a difference in your life. That's why I'm challenging you as much as I can in these final notes. Don't just walk out of here and continue to do business as usual. You've wasted your time and you wasted mine. I want you to make a difference. That's why at the back of each section, I give you a spot where you can put down action steps. This one I'm looking at, for example, is right before page 290 under property maintenance. Okay, you heard me talk. You're looking through the manual. What action steps are you now going to take to become, what's the term? Proactive. That's one of the key words that I wanted to stress with you at the beginning and at the end. I don't want you to be the landlord that just fills the vacancy and sits back and hope that everything works out fine. Your management, your life, your cash flow, your income, your freedom will be far better if you're proactive. And if you have goals that you are looking to improve upon. Another thing I should mention to you, let me see where that is. In case you're like many individuals, you go to start something and you're not sure where to start. I suggest to you to do action steps, right? That's what I just suggested. Under each category, those action steps become the blueprint, the basis for your own customized business manual, procedures manual. So if you're saying, Jeffrey, I don't know where to start. Well, I even give you suggestions on action steps. So starting on page 335, I give you suggestions of what might be included in your action steps for that particular category. There's a set of action steps on what you might do or your assistant might do if a property is occupied. Following page, if it's empty. Next page, marketing action steps, showing action steps, screening action steps, new resident orientation action steps, maximizing income action steps. You get the picture? What did I say earlier? If you want somebody to follow the program, what should you do? As much as you can, try to make it as easy as you can for them to follow. So you can choose. And then I put little boxes next to everything. Guess what I put those little boxes for? So you can check off the ones that you think will apply to you. And then you can transfer those over to the blank pages. I'm trying to make it easy for you to follow what I'm suggesting. Because action steps I'm an action-oriented person. I'm a goal-oriented person. I'm a proactive person. You can choose which one of those terms works best for you. But my whole goal is to move you forward. To help you get started on action steps, use that as a starting point for your personalized manual, your business plan. I've given you your CPL, your recognition. You're now considered a certified professional landlord. Use it whatever way you like. Again, you can use the initials behind your name. You can put the certificate up on your home office wall. I use it to motivate myself. Some people sometimes ask, well, Jeffrey, what's really the big deal? The big deal is when I first started writing the newsletter, Mr. Landlord, and I went out and started speaking, I felt that so many landlords didn't see themselves as a professional. They just saw themselves as, yeah, I'm doing something as a hobby. I'm doing something on the side. I'm doing something to get some extra income. Yeah, I'm doing something, but my real job, so to speak, is what I do full time. And I'm saying to myself, even if you do this on a very part-time basis, you still should carry yourself, in my opinion, as a professional in doing so, and see yourself as a professional. And I think the more you see yourself as a professional, it'll rub off in how your residents respond to you. It'll also affect how you respond to them. Because a professional landlord responds differently than somebody who's just doing stuff on the side. I use that, one of my core concepts is to teach you that change the way your residents think. Well, my core concepts, I use it in all the businesses that I do. So when I'm training, part of what I'm imparting to you, attempting to instill in you, is change the way you see yourself when it comes to your business and how you handle it. I asked you for feedback from the evaluation forms. I greatly appreciate those of you that give me your feedback. If you want to do anything more extensive, feel free to communicate to me at editor@mrlandlord.com. But I'm part of your real estate team. If you need help from me, I will be glad to assist you and offer email assistance to you. Let's not get extreme with that. But I am here to be part of your team. I want you to move forward. That growth assessment that's in the assessment that you took at the beginning, I told you there's a blank one, showed you there's a blank one in the back of your forms. I'd really like you sometime in the next 3 to 6 months, or you can even do it in the next week, because some of you have learned some things even over these 2 days that would change your answers. But I would like you to follow up and take that again. You can also use that if you ever want to get an assistant working with you and doing a lot of stuff for you. Have them answer the questions. See where their mindset is in terms of how they would approach different things. That might give you a starting point on where you can start to train, offer assistance to them. You can also, if you ever get somebody who you think is going to be really good in working with you, it could be someone non-related, or it could be a family member, could be a child, could be a sibling, could be a partner. If you find somebody that you think would work well with you, or that you'd like to turn the business over to at one point, feel free to encourage them or bring them to one of the future boot camps. It's one thing for people to hear the ideas It's another thing to be present live and connect with the presenter of the ideas that's sharing those ideas. So I welcome you to do that. Of course, you'll have a copy of the audio or video portion of this, and you'll be able to share that as well. Sometimes that does not have, even though it's great for you, because I'm instilling and I'm imparting to you my great energy, my communication skills, my this and that may not transfer as much on camera as it does in person. So again, I invite you to invite them to come to a future event. And I'm not saying that just so I can get another customer. No, I'm not even sure how long I'll continue to do boot camps, to be honest with you. I'm saying that to your benefit because I think it could be helpful. What's the word say? If two people walk together, they got to be in one accord or something like that. Can't remember it specifically right now. I'm not talking. It doesn't apply just to marriage. If anybody's, pardon me? Unless they're in agreement, yeah? Okay. How can two walk together unless they're in agreement? What am I saying? If you got somebody working with you, if you're working with a team, the more you can be in agreement, and that goes for those of you that are husband and wives or partners. So I'm glad that you brought your partner with you, if you did, because it's one thing to go back all excited, guess what I learned, guess what I learned, guess what I learned, and the partner's like, yeah, all right, okay. Or they may say something to you like, yeah, this is a nice boot camp, but how come you didn't go to the retreat in Cabo? Now I'd really be on board with you with that one. And you think I'm joking, but that was a comment that I just happened to overhear. So, concluding thoughts, next step. I said this on the first day. Whole goal is to help you get to the point where you have more freedom. Question is, after you have more freedom, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Just like you have goals in business, I would suggest that you extend that out and have goals in other parts of your life so that when you have more freedom, you'll be able to do something significant or that you really would like to do with that extra free time. Don't be like individuals that get the free time and then they end up, it's not, at least my suggestion to you is, they end up basically wasting that additional time that they have. Life is short, folks. Life is short. I joke about coming to Cabo, but on a serious note, many people over the years, I've heard them say, oh, we're going to join you at one of your cruises. We're going to join you at one of our retreats. We're going to join you one day. And then the next thing you know, I get a call from a spouse saying, well, my spouse is very sick. My spouse is ill. My spouse has actually passed away. And yes, me and my wife get those calls. In fact, my mentor, Nick Kuhn, he had joined us on 2 of our Landlord cruises, and he was getting ready to join us on a 3rd one. And his wife called and said that, I'm sorry, Nick's had a heart attack. Sorry to have to tell you that, Jeff. That was tough, because he was a good friend. Life is short. If you're going to enjoy life, if you're going to do some things, make plans to do it and move in that direction. I told you when I got more free time, I wrote a couple of books. I started to be head up of our business ministry at our church. I didn't just want the time to just not be used in a way that I felt could benefit other people in some way. I challenge you to be a benefit to other individuals in any way that you can, whether it's family or whether it's others. My name is Jeffrey, and I'm your friend. That's it in terms of my concluding thoughts.